Great way to start a show, isn't it? By saying, oh no. Oh no to a topic. Oh, not this topic, Jeff. I know. I didn't really want to do it. It feels as if, as usual in the state of Texas, you feel like your brain is shrinking, but here it is. The transgendered athlete topic. Yep, the transgendered athlete topic is here again and again and again. Your statewide political heroes have taken command of the stage. No doubt about it. It is a priority for them. It is grab the microphone, rant, take command of the stage. By the way, I wish more people were cynical like me, but I will own that I'm completely cynical. This is nothing more, taxpayers, than public theater. This is art. Got it? So I'm sure this is going to come off the rails. I expect it to come off the rails before the day is over, but we'll see. I'll do my best to make my position, my very, very unpopular position on this very clear. Okay, I'll do it right now, and I'll do it a few different ways, but I'll do it right now. I'll go first, and you can disagree, you can hate on me, you can challenge me all you would like, but I'll go first. It's pretty much none of my business. I have a lot of kids in school. You know what? None of my business. Not a problem. Keep moving. There's my outrageous take on this issue already. I'll do my best to make sure that it is clear and that my position is not hijacked. The position is it doesn't affect me, doesn't affect my kids. If it did, we'd work it out. Move on. All right, let me start by asking you, I'll do this for everyone. Put yourself in this position. I do think you have to participate because, it is your capital. They are your lawmakers. These are your schools, all that stuff. So this is you. This is on your nickel. And you're probably going to have another special session, which costs you about $35,000 a day. So, yep, it's on you. So I'll start this by asking, I want you to think about your everyday life, what you deal with on a day-to-day, a week-to-week, year-to-year basis. Ask yourself what's important, what affects your life. Day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year, the stuff you do every day, the stuff you need to do every day, the stuff that is on a normal person's radar. I don't think you need long to think about it because you live it. The stuff that matters, right? The stuff that really matters. So challenge me on this. And I would welcome the argument. I would welcome the challenge. I would gladly give up a minute or two here and there just to hear the challenge. I would welcome it, certainly welcome it from anybody at the state capitol right now, but there's no chance, absolutely zero chance that happens. But here's the challenge. You know what doesn't affect your daily life? It doesn't affect you weekly. It doesn't affect you monthly. It doesn't affect you hourly. It doesn't affect you at all. It's not making a difference in any minute of your day. College sports. College sports doesn't affect you. You may be entertained. You may pass some time watching. You may pass some time attending, but it doesn't affect you. You know what really doesn't affect your life in any way? In any form, at any moment? Transgendered athletes participating in college sports. It doesn't affect you at all. I feel safe in saying that. I really do. I don't think anyone could probably offer up. I think you're probably lying if you said, no, Jeff, it does affect me. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Now, I said transgendered athletes participating in college sports. I think I'm going to do a Sasquatch reference. How about that? We haven't had a whole lot of Sasquatch references recently, so I'll do it just for kicks. Sasquatch biting your leg. I don't even know if Sasquatch has teeth. Let's assume that Sasquatch has teeth or a powerful grip. Either way. If you would like to say Sasquatch grabbing you by the throat, I'll do that one. Or Sasquatch biting you. Both of those things by Sasquatch are more pressing issues than transgendered athletes in college sports. There's a better chance, I feel comfortable with this, there's a better chance that Sasquatch tries to strangle you than transgendered athletes in college sports affects your daily life. At all. At all. The Texas Tribune reports, and by the way, there's been an update because there will be constant updates because this is going to happen all the time at the Texas Capitol. There is a mad scramble at the Capitol. You know, the one you pay for and the people you pay to be there and the special sessions you're going to pay for that cost about $35,000 a day. There is a mad scramble to get in front of a microphone to tell you how you should care about transgendered athletes participating in college sports. So this is the Texas Tribune reporting. There's been an update in the last couple of hours. This will become law, taxpayers. That's the update in the last couple of hours. This will become law. Multiple laws, more than likely. Laws. Texas Tribune reports a Republican bill that would extend Texas's restrictions on transgendered athletes to the college level is on track to become law. That's law, taxpayers. After receiving support from a majority of House members, the bill's author, State Rep. Valerie Swanson. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you. Valerie Swanson of Spring. Shockingly, there's an R next to her name. She announced that 77 GOP colleagues had signed on as co-authors of House Bill 23. This gives it slightly more than the support it needs to pass the 150-member House. That's the Capitol that's not far from here that you pay for, by the way. Just want to let you know. Hey, did anybody lose their power recently? Yeah, I did. Huh. Yeah, I know. Blah, blah, blah. So it will pass the 150-member House. I should say I believe that it has passed in the last few hours, and it'll pass easily, and it will be a slam dunk, and they will cheer themselves on. The measure has already had support from Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He's the moral compass of all people of Texas. You need to know that. He's your moral compass, taxpayers. The presiding officer of the Senate and presidential wannabe, maybe kind of sort of, Governor Greg Abbott. The legislation, in case you're keeping track at home because it's really important to you, the legislation would bar transgendered men from competing on men's college sports teams and transgender women from joining women's college athletic teams. The bill would also extend the current restrictions on transgendered athletes in K through 12 schools to private schools whose sports teams compete against public schools. Swanson said, the legislation is important to, quote, protect fairness in women's sports. I mean, I could say something else, but it's going to be completely misunderstood. It's none of your business how fair women's college sports is. It doesn't matter at all to you. I think it's pretty fair, but if it wasn't fair, it still wouldn't affect you. You know, did you lose your power recently? I did. Did some of your kids' teachers, have they quit recently? Because some of mine have, stuff. Just bringing that stuff up. I'm just saying. She goes on to say the proposal is a priority for Dan Patrick and Greg Abbott. It shows a way to prevent trans women from competing against cisgender women at the college level. 2 years ago, just in case you've been lost, 2 years ago, the guy that kind of wants to be president, maybe sort of, just waiting on the emperor to decide what he's going to do, whether he's going to be wearing a jumpsuit. The guy who wants to be president, kind of, at least going to run that way so we can raise some money, signed into law a bill that restricted transgendered student athletes from playing on K through 12 sports teams that align with their gender identity. There was almost an instant pressure from Republicans to go further because that wasn't enough. And HB 23 would extend the 2021 prohibition to transgender students' sports participating at colleges and universities. So they took that one bill and extended it further. And I bet you it's not the last bill that you hear about this. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if you didn't hear more about this. Everybody's going to try to make another bill about this. Hey, how are your property taxes working out? I'm just bringing that up. I saw that I believe the state of Texas has much higher property taxes than we had realized. In fact, one of the most expensive states in the entire country. I'm just bringing that up. Blah, 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 blah. I know. Shut up, Jeff. Last year, the NCAA Board of Governors. You know what? I'm going to stop there because I don't want to bring up anything that's actually being tackled. So let's do this. I'm going to ask everyone another, I think, a relevant question. Okay? It won't be asked at the Capitol because that's not allowed. It won't be asked on podunk talk shows all over the state because that's not allowed. You just don't do that stuff. Here it is, though. Just want you to think about something else. Can you cite, more importantly, did your lawmakers cite, because we got 2 laws made just today, just so you know. Did your lawmakers cite any? And I said any examples in the state of Texas that this is an issue at the collegiate sports level? Was one example used in any of the laws in the state of Texas? I'll take it another step if you'd like, because this is not that hard, but I'll take another step. Can you cite, any of you, can your lawmakers cite? Now, put in the office, just so we're all clear about what kind of scorecard we're working with here. These are people put in office by you to the important work of using your tax dollars. Okay? Everything that happens is on your nickel. Have lawmakers cited any examples in the state of Texas that this is an issue at the collegiate sports level? And are you ready for this part? I know this is going to be an outlandish follow-up question because I'm not reading. In fact, I read just the opposite. No examples have been provided. None. You know what happened a few years ago when this was made into the first round of laws? No examples were cited. Okay, but let's just keep going. So, have there been any examples used to create this law on your nickel, allegedly representing you, that is not currently dealt with by the governing bodies of collegiate sports? Did it ever once come up? Will it ever once come up that if, and I said if this were an issue, is there anybody saying that it's not covered by the governing bodies of college sports? Last time I checked, the governing body of college sports is not Dan Patrick, the moral compass of Texas and the Texas legislature. Do you know what, taxpayers? You do know the governing bodies have already tackled this. You do know that, right? In fact, did so in 2010, have done so ever since. Did anyone at the Capitol, did anyone driving around, did anyone making the law cite any of those things today in passing legislation? It's a challenge, just a challenge for anyone. Throwing it out there. Back to my Sasquatch. Let's bring Sasquatch back into this because it feels like it fits about right now. Sasquatch not only biting you or strangling you. I don't know how it is it that Sasquatch hurts people. How is that? Strangling? Okay. Sasquatch biting you and urinating on you is a more pressing issue. You can keep going if you want. I'm done with Sasquatch metaphors, but if you want to, keep going. The fact that anyone in the state of Capitol or anyone in elected office gets reelected because of this issue, hey, taxpayers, this is everything wrong with us. Got it? This is everything wrong with us. Everything. If you were in a college wrestling tournament, I have a bunch of kids in school. You know what I'm not worried about? This. Never. Even if it came up, you know what I'm not worried about? This. Even if it came up, you know what we do? I don't know. Local control, take it up with the school board, stuff like that. You know, foreign concepts like local control. But if you were in a college wrestling tournament, you're not. But if you were in a college wrestling tournament and you had an issue with a transgendered athlete, you think this is who is unfairly competing against you. For whatever reason, you think the athletic competition you're involved in is unfair. But let's just say you think it's unfair because the athlete is transgendered. You think it's wrong. You think it's wrong for your kid. You think it's wrong for your brother, your sister. Fill in the blank. I don't care. You think the competition that you're in the state of Texas at the collegiate level is wrong. Okay? Now, we don't have any examples. We don't have any. Just to be clear, we don't have an example of this. But if we did, even if we did, does anyone bother to bring up that this is dealt with in rules administered by the governing bodies of college sports? Just like it is in the Olympics. You know that? Just like it. Got it? Those people aren't elected. They don't work for you. It's not on your nickel. You're not involved at all, unless you're part of the administration for the governing body of college sports. So that's an if. So if you didn't agree with the governing bodies of college sports and their positions on transgendered athletes, and you thought, you know what, I don't even agree with this at the Division II, Division I, Division 1A, whatever the divisions are, even if you didn't agree with the governing body, then that's between you and whom? It's a concept for taxpayers. You and the school and the conference, you can fight it out. You can disagree, you can quit, you can protest, you can take it up with your coach. Any one of those things, they're all already addressed. Already. Not by Dan Patrick, not by the presidential wannabe, not somebody else who's going to get a bunch of votes from some blue hairs in rural Texas. It's already all dealt with, if it were an issue. And you know what else is amazing? It's not an issue. But if it were, just saying. So it's not our problem, nor should we care. Or if you want to care, guess what? It's not your problem. It's not a problem. It's not a thing. You know, it takes 4 seconds, actually less than 4 seconds, but I'll say maybe you're driving, you got to get your phone out or whatever. It takes 4 seconds, but I'll do this for you, okay? I'll do this for you. I'll do this for everyone in the state of Texas that thinks they care, that wants to care. And that is this. Associated Press headline. Associated Press headline. Lawmakers can't cite local examples of trans girls in sports. None. Got it? None. The question was asked. Now, there might be some drunk uncle of yours somewhere that made up a story with a tinfoil hat that his son was beaten in a wrestling match. None. I'll read the headline to you again from the Associated Press. Lawmakers can't cite local examples of trans girls in sports. You know what we can cite? It doesn't take us long. We probably should cite. That would be, power outages, property taxes, teacher shortages, corporate welfare examples, legalizing marijuana. Did I say power outages? Want to bring that one up too? Oh, and power outages. Should I read the headline back to you again? I think I'll do that again. Do you think this ever came up at the Capitol today? Will come up at the Capitol tomorrow or next month or anytime in the near future? The Associated Press headline reads, and I'll bet you it can read this way today, tomorrow, and the next 3 years. Lawmakers can't cite examples of trans girls in sports. You know what, taxpayers? You're not college athletes. You know that? You're not college athletes. And your kid's not going to be a college athlete. I hate to break it to you as well. But if they were, are you ready for it? I know this is crazy to do. I know this is too much to ask of anyone with a brain cell at the Capitol, if such a thing exists. But if you were a college athlete or if you were involved in college athletics, how about this? For more than a decade, it's reported by the Texas Tribune today, the National Collegiate Athletic Association allowed transgendered women to participate in women's college sports championships if they had at least 1 year of testosterone suppression medication. Okay. Out of the science of this stuff, you know what? It's already been dealt with. Now, you may not like it. Guess you'll take it up with the governing board of college sports, right? Last year, the NCAA Board of Governors adopted a new policy that will be phased in by the 2024 and 2025 season. Under the new policy, the national governing body for each sport will determine the qualifications for trans athletes' participation, though there are still requirements to report testosterone levels to the NCAA. Do you know what? In all of that stuff, and I can do it for another 45 minutes reading you exactly what the governing bodies of college sports do, the sport that you're not involved in, they all have their own rules. You know what there's never mentioned? Dan Patrick, Greg Abbott, or anybody else at the Texas Capitol. You know why? Because they don't matter in this. It's none of their business either. Currently, trans athletes must meet policy requirements set in 2010 and provide documented testosterone levels for their sports at the start of the season and 6 months into competition. So if you want this to be an issue, you want this to be an issue over coffee or good wine or wherever you might want to debate this, it's all right there done by the governing bodies already. Already. It's not a problem for them either, by the way. They don't cite very many examples that I know of at all. But if there was one, sort of like Sasquatch strangling you, if there was one, they've already got policies built in since 2010. Just saying. Hey, did anybody lose their power recently? I don't know, but it was dark for a while. Kids and I had to freeze at night. How about that stuff, too, where you find out there's a teacher shortage in your district? Did you know about that, too? So, listen, there's a non-problem being solved. It's a non-problem being solved. Why do this at the Capitol? Why do we now have multiple laws? You're going to have more. You're going to hear more about it. It's all intentional. There's going to be, they'll keep adding on laws, whatever variations they can come up with. Why this? Why now? Why is such a non-issue? It gets them reelected. Yeah. Look, if you're driving around the state, here's a way I can end this that I think you should care. And I have no problem. Would welcome any challenge whatsoever. But because I know what you're going to do. You're going to say, but Jeff, do you have a daughter? I do. What if she was beaten in the 800 meters by somebody who wasn't a girl? Okay. You know whose problem that's not? Yours. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'd be really mad. Maybe I'd say, you know what? Such is life. It's the freaking 7th grade 800 meters. It's nobody's business. Why do you need the governor? Why do you need Dan Patrick, the moral compass of all people of Texas, by the way? You do know that. He is your moral compass. If you need help, he'll do it. Why do you need the governor to help you with this? Why? Why do you need this fixed by the governor? So if you're driving around the state, okay, you don't care about this issue. You don't. And you're not connected to it in any way. No person functioning in life is connected to this at all. But what if, Jeff? What if? Okay, let's do what if. Let's do it. If the Texas State women's basketball team played against a transgendered athlete for Stephen F. Austin tonight, I have no idea if they even play, but I'm just doing the what if. What if? I don't even know how many people would be at the game, 300, 400, something like that. But let's just say that Stephen F. Austin had a transgendered athlete playing against Texas State tonight. I already said there's rules in place, there are stipulations, there's a governing body, blah, blah, blah. You would not care. You wouldn't care. More importantly, it would affect you none at all. Zero. No effect whatsoever. None. Did you lose power? I lost power for 5 days recently. Man, it was miserable. How about you? So why is this happening? Most people are not from here. You've moved here from somewhere else. Again, you have a life. You're functioning. You pay your taxes. You go on about life. You go to your kid's homeroom. You do the normal stuff that normal functioning people do in this state when they're not losing power. And so why this? You're going, man, what's the deal? Jeff, I don't know. That would worry me that there was a transgendered athlete playing against my daughter. I can answer that. Let me answer it. Okay? Take this and just bank on it and keep it with you every day. Every time you hear an issue, hear this issue come up, just remember this. I feel comfortable in saying, just put this away, and if it comes up, you have a reference point. The reference point is this. Transgendered athletes of today are the bathroom bill of a few years ago. Again, a lot of you aren't from here, so you don't know how politics works in the sensational, freak out old white people world. Okay. But transgendered athletes of today, the transgendered athlete story of today, because we don't have any examples, but let's just use it as a broad term. Transgendered athletes of today are the bathroom bills, plural, of a few years ago. They are the boogeyman. Okay. They are Sasquatch. They are the boogeyman to scared little old ladies in rural Texas. You're going to think again, come on now, that's harsh, Ward. Now, let me explain that part too, because I think I'm right. I'm certainly open to any challenge whatsoever. This is the boogeyman story to little old ladies in rural Texas, because in between trips to the post office, she's watching Fox News, and she hears Texas elected officials tell her what a awful situation this is, what a nightmare this could be for her granddaughter. And she hears that, and she believes them. She believes, just like a few years ago, that men are taking over women's showers, that men are taking over middle school locker rooms, girls' middle school locker rooms. She hears that men are taking over women's basketball, just like she believed that men were using restrooms at Target. Okay? This is what she heard then, and it worked, and it freaked her out. She's hearing it again. And so she's concerned. So she freaks out, and she votes in primaries.